Wait, we got like a couple more seconds before it's 9:45. Alright, it's 9:45. So typically, as is the custom, whenever I start a YouTube video, I have a very simple request of everyone watching. And that is typically to say hi to YouTube, everyone, because we are making a video today. Video's pretty much a Lance primer, everything that I believe that you need to know in order to play Lance, and I will try to keep it as informative as possible. So we'll be talking about literally everything, even the small nuances that you probably don't know about. We're gonna address that too. So, hello everyone. My name is Tega. I consider myself to be the best Lance in North America, and yeah, we're gonna talk about how to play Lance. I'll be discussing his frame data, his usage of his normals, and everything in between in order to help you have a Lance similar to mine. All I ask in turn is one very simple thing. Don't play this color that I'm using. This is my color. Whatever else after that point, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So, let's begin. So, Lance has a pretty standard toolkit as a rushdown oriented character. Because he has shorter normals, most of his frame data is pretty fast in comparison. So, first button we'll talk about is 5L. Something important to know about Lance is that he doesn't have a far L, so he has one L button standing, and that's this. Comes in at 5 frames, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Links into auto combo, links into 2M. It's +7 on hit, +8 on hit, which is pretty convenient because some of his slowest normals, including his heavy, is 7 frames. So he's one of the few characters that can do 5L into 5H. Alright. But he could also do 5L into close M, 5L into far M, or 5L into 2M. So, yeah. Pretty good at 5L. His close M comes in at 6 frames. Pretty good normal. Something worth noting is that it's 0 on block, which makes it really good as a frame trapping button, because if, let's say, someone wants to mash on your 5M, you'll crush them, because whenever you press close M, they get a far normal instead of a close up. And because of the priority system in this game, you always win, and you always get a conversion. Now, typically, me personally, I never do this frame trap because no one's gonna press immediately. What tends to happen is that people will delay a button or so. So to simulate that, we'll just use close M, and I'll do 5M. I'll do 5M into. Oops, sorry. I'll use close H because people rarely fall for this frame trap. So instead, I just use 5H. Pretty simple. 5H, 7 frames of startup, still relatively fast compared to the rest of the cast in this game. It hits twice, so you can always confirm it. Let me not say always confirm it. If they're standing, you will always be able to confirm it. In certain airborne situations, you might not always get to confirm, so you have to be a little bit more aware when that happens. So yeah, but otherwise, if they're standing, you always get it. If the first hit connects, you'll typically get the second hit, unless really far. Obviously this is your best starter, and it will get you most of your damage. Crouching normals, you have 2L that comes at 6 frames. This is one of your few crouching hitting normals. It changes to himself into light Rekka. It's a good way of just checking people if they're walking back. Now you have 2M, which is also 6 frames, but I'd rather use this button as more so as if you're trying to mash, honestly, because if I'm gonna press 2L, I might as well press 2M because they both start up in the same speed, and I get a better reward off of 2M. So if you're gonna press 2L in an instance, just consider pressing 2M. There's really no difference. And obviously you can still confirm off of it, so it doesn't really matter trying to like hit confirm the second 2L. 2H is your anti-air button. So someone's trying to jump in at you, just anti-air with 2H. You can convert in several different ways. If you're using the old school ways to use Rekkas, right? So you just do 2H into light Rekkas, gets a little damage, and your soft knockdown just resting down in the corner. But you could also do medium blade impulse and convert that way as well. It's pretty much user's preference, honestly. Doesn't really matter which one you use because you'll still be getting damage regardless. And Lance is one of the few characters that can actually like, get damage for a non-counter hit 2H. And if you want to be like really swaggy about it, you can do SSBA. It doesn't require counter hits to work, so it's also pretty convenient as well. So that's pretty much 2H. Bar M, 7 frame normal. The same speed as the slow H, but hits further out. It has slightly better range than 2M, but that's really all. That's pretty much it. Typically, like in the previous patch, if you were able to get like 6XL to hit meaty, you got 2M, but even then, you're still better off just confirming into 2M if you're not sure if you'll get the close in anyways. Bar H, 10 frames. This is as slow as normal, outside of 2H. But this button is really much just like a whiff punish button for me. So like if I'm playing like neutral with a cat and I see them whiff that button, I can just whiff punish them for doing it. Relatively easy, relatively low effort. Nothing to complain about there. Right? Jump normals, you have JL. Like the rest of JLs in this game is active until they touch the ground. So no matter how high I jump, I will remain in that animation until I touch the ground. Right? Really useful if you like want to like delay your low option, delay your high option at certain points. So it's pretty convenient for that. You have JM, which is your cross-up button. You can hit same side or cross-up. It's completely up to you. Which really doesn't matter because there's a guard button in this game, but in certain interactions where it's like, oh, we're close to the corner, you set stuff up like this. Oh, I messed up. That's too close to the corner. That's just right. You can go double high. Fake the high. Or go high low. You really have like a plethora of options here when you're pressing JM. It's just dealer's preference. So just be mindful of what you want to do before you do it. And then you have JH. It hits twice. Something worth noting is that in this game, double hitting air normals like Lancelot's JH have a light priority, so it can be crushed out by mediums. So people with like really good medium hitboxes like Fairy can often crush this. So in my head, honestly, the only time I'm ever actually using this normal is if like they're getting hit by like EX Fireball, or like I like turbulence over something and I know that whatever I'm about to do is a punish. Those are the times I would probably use JH when I know I'm getting guaranteed damage. Otherwise, I'm probably sticking with JL or JL, in all honesty. So that pretty much goes over his normals. And now let's talk about his mechanics. So Lance's unique ability is essentially it allows him to like move across the screen. So it comes in I think like 5 different versions. So that's his normal unique if you don't press a follow-up. If you press his unique and then you press 4U, which is back and then U again, he retreats backwards. If you press 5U and then 8U, he leaps up into the air. if you press 5U and then 6U, you go behind your opponent. And then if you press 5U and then tap it again, you kind of immediately stop. But this one can like depend on how, like when you press it. So like if I'm like right around here, that's me pressing it immediately. But I can like delay my press a little bit later to be closer to my opponent. And then JU. It pretty much just dashes into the ground. This is really good for like fake outs. Sometimes you'll fight an opponent. Yep, I did that way too early. It's good as an anti-air bait. Like if you know your opponent's like really like trying to scope out your anti-airs. See here, I'm getting hit for trying to jump in. Yep, I messed up. You could use 5U. You could use JU to like bait out the anti-air, land on the ground, and then punish them while they're still in recovery. Okay. But be mindful, you could still be like hit. You just have to time it correctly in correspondence to your opponent trying to hit you. So yeah, it's kind of like you having a read on your opponent, like, oh, they want to anti-air me like really badly, so they'll press it here, and then you punish them as you land. So that pretty much goes over his unique system. Next up, we will have his special moves. He has 4 special moves like every other character in the game. So we'll be splitting this up into his normal special moves and then his ult special moves. So let's talk about his normal special moves. So the easiest one to talk about is Blade Impulse. It's a DP input, or to those new to the game, it's 623. Or if you're using easy input, it's just forward ability or forward skill. Blade Impulse is pretty much like your way of, I guess, pushing to the corner and oppressing whoever you're fighting against. Thank you for the follow. Maybe awful. Yeah, thank you for the follow. So, yeah, it's your way of pushing your opponent to the corner as quickly as possible. That's typically when I use this move, like, oh, I just want to push to the corner. Yeah, that's when I use it. Alright. If memory serves, it does less damage than if you were to use Rekka, so just keep in mind that you're doing this really quick just for the push and the corner carry. Alright. Light Blade Impulse is just really good because of how fast it is. Even at like round start, you could space it out to be like relatively safe, so that's always a plus. Even if I take like, even at round start, it's throw punishable. If I take one step back and do it, now I'm not throw punishable anymore. So really good tool whenever you just want to like check your opponent. And it's also really good when you're fighting opponents that like are trying to command space in a sense. So give me 1 second as I switch characters to a good example of a character who wants to command space. There she is. Okay, so earlier I was mentioning like commanding space. So sometimes you're just like, oh, you're fighting someone, you see that they're like let's say a Cagliostro, and you just see them throw out a trap. You just use Blade Impulse to close the space as quickly as possible, and now rest them down because now the space that they're trying to command is no longer there. So this is like a really good application of like how you use Blade Impulse in a sense. And there are other characters who I can think of that probably have a similar game plan. Matera, Zeta, Fairy. Yeah, these are all characters. Lawayne, all characters that kind of want to command space versus Lancelot, so you could use Blade Impulse to close that space. In that same regard, you could use M Blade Impulse as your anti-air conversion for any character that jumps into you. And just convert how you feel. Like, you have options with the way you can convert off of M Blade Impulse. So, do that as, like, convert how you want. Or if you really want to be, like, technical, you can just do this. Push to the corner, and now use Blade Impulse to push to the corner. And then Heavy Blade Impulse. Oops. Heavy Blade Impulse is your combo starter. Whenever you're in the corner, you use that to get your wall bounce and start your party. It's pretty much how you'll be using it to get most of your damage, honestly. Anytime you're in the corner, just remember you're going to be using Heavy Blade Impulse. It doesn't matter what the conversion is. Rekka's is pretty straightforward. It literally turns anything that you do into a hit confirmable situation, and then also frame traps in itself if you delay your Rekkas enough. And then if it sets a random... Oh god! What a reaction. You just react to a hit. Even if they block the L, even if they block the crouch M, you can still react to it, see that it hits, and convert however you want. M Rekka pretty much has the same function as L Rekka, except the fact that M Rekka isn't comboable unless it's from auto combo, or unless it's from close H. If I do it from close H, it combos. Yeah, CPU definitely had me looking goofy with that super. And then Heavy Rekka. Heavy Rekka has a lot of usages depending on who you watch. Like if you see Fukunaga play, you'll see him typically always opt to use Heavy Rekka, either for the meter build or for like the corner carry. But me personally, I only use it in like one situation now, and it's off for this one specific combo. Yeah, that's pretty much when I use Heavy Rekka. Or if I'm doing like max damage confirm, which would be this. Yeah, those are the only two times I ever actually use Heavy Rekka. But you don't have to be me. Be your own individual. Use Heavy Rekka whenever you feel like it. It is a Rekka, so you could always just check like, oh, let me see if they're like blocking or if they're mashing. It's still your turn back, which I think is like one of Lance's strong suit. So keep that in mind. Fireball is your set play option. You don't have a traditional fireball you can use. This is like a zoning tool. Your fireball starts on like half a second at best. So people can like always mash on you if you're trying to use it as a zoning tool. Using fireball is more like I want them to like interact with this obstacle that is in their way. Like imagine like your opponent's getting up and you just put a brick wall that's about to fall on top of them. That's what you're using. That's what you're using fireball for. So a really good example is this. Like they have to interact with that fireball. Whether they block it, they try to roll it, they try to guard cancel it, or they try to DP it, they still have to interact with the fireball before they actually interact with you. And that can affect their like decision making. Some of them might try to DP, someone might try to block, some might try to roll. So it's helping you like discover what your opponent's defensive mechanics, options are. So you cannot play Lance without this fire, needless to say. Then you have Turbulence. Turbulence is just really a teleport. It leaps them into the air. If you hold the button that you use to commit to the teleport, you get a follow-up. So in terms of usage, I would argue that this is possibly Lance's like least used move outside, like in neutral. But you could use it as a set play option that we'll talk about in a second, as soon as I figure out what character I need. Ah, there you go. So, like a really common example of like when I would use Turbulence is like whenever I'm fighting above Beelzebub and they try to like pull me in with Vacuum, you could use Turbulence to like avoid the Vacuum and punish them from the way down. And great part is because it's it's pressing down, you could just use down ability and just leap up into the air. It's always good to have. Otherwise, you could use it as a set play option, as I mentioned earlier. Like that. So, if you think your opponent's like prone to like waking up with DP, I think it's like Lancelot. You could use this to like avoid the DP situation. Oh wait, it didn't work. Oh, set to needs to be hit. In the previous clip, you saw that the JL hit, and now you see I get to block. And you don't have to use JL; you can use literally whatever button you want. That time I used JM, still blocked. That time I used JH. You can literally use whatever option you want. And if you do it correctly, they'll whiff their DP and you still get to block in time. Perfectly good. I think I covered all his special moves? Yeah, I did. So now we can go over his ult moves, right? Let's get the simplest one out the way first. +2. That's it. Really convenient because you have really fast normal, so you can always press 5H after this and it'll frame trap if they press anything that's not grab. But yeah, I believe you're still out of grab range in doing this. So. Okay. Yeah, you're out of grab range anyway, so. Just press 5H regardless. That pretty much covers ult right there. Next you have Ult Blade Impulse, which is probably my favorite special. My favorite Ult Blade Impulse is definitely my favorite ultimate move he has. Because it reminds me of Virgil Rapid Slash. It gives you a cross-up, it gives you a side switch, and you can just do whatever you want from it. Because your opponent is still crumpled. Mid-screen, you can follow it up into 6XL into 5H. And in the corner, you can hop off the wall with JM and convert into auto combo. So, really good as like a combo extender, honestly. Yeah, that pretty much covers Ult Blade Impulse, honestly. Oh, and obviously, like with all ult moves, it gives you a hard knockdown. So if you want to do some fucked up shit, you can do like this. Oh wait, sorry. Let's take off the option. Nope, sorry. Oh, they didn't block it. Messed up. Sorry. And you get your little goofy set plays in there. You can do what you want. So that covers Blade Impulse. His best ultimate move is obviously EX Fireball. Ult Fireball, because Ult Fireball pretty much doubles your frame data. So if we turn on this character's frame data. So, Bub's jab in total is 17 frames. But if we put Ult Ice on him, now it's 34 frames. It doubles it. When you're using Ult Ice, you can literally, if on hit, on block, it's still really damn good. On hit, you get like really cool combos. Alright? And on block, your opponent is like literally terrified to do anything. Because again, everything they do is doubled, so they'd be taking an insane risk to press a button there. And especially if they grab. Second. They just spent an entire second in whiffing a throw animation. It's the greatest feeling ever. Because you have so much time to like punish it. It's like, and especially considering like meter penalty. Oh, I messed up. Considering meter penalty, like, there's no meter penalty in this game. You could spend it here and still build the meter back for SBA or SSBA. I spent 50% meter and got it back. How long does the ice last? I do not recall, honestly. I would say maybe like 3 or 4 seconds. It feels like. Okay, we'll say like a second or two. It feels like they're stuck in that animation forever, honestly. So typically, you just use it to like make sure your opponent's staying honest and they're not pressing anything. Otherwise, they may die. All right, and then you have 2-2-U or Ultimate Turbulence. This is pretty much your reversal option. It's your sole reversal option outside of SBA. And considering SBA takes 13 frames and DP takes 8, you might as well just spend the 8 frames, honestly. I mean, you might as well just spend the 50 meter, honestly, for a faster reversal. Something worth noting is that, again, because ult moves give hard knockdown, you could either go for a safe jump, or keep in mind, obviously, your safe jump will side switch. Right. Or you can like use that fireball I told you about to see what your opponent will do and see how they'll react and how they interact with the fireball. Something worth noting is that easy input DP does less damage than technical input DP. So if you really need that 200 damage to kill, just do the technical input. Other than that, I feel like we covered all of his ult moves, I believe. Alright, now for the easy parts, right? SBA. It's a dash. As you can see, this dash goes really far. Alright. If it hits, you get this nice little cinematic, and yeah, you get a good chunk of damage. The damage does not defer, like, you don't lose damage for how far he runs out. You only lose damage if you do easy input, which is by pressing L, M, and ability. And as you can see, you get 4,000 damage versus the 4,400 that you would get from doing quarter circle forward ability or double quarter circle forward heavy. Alright. Worth mentioning that once the dash connects, you automatically take away your bravery point. Like, there's no discussion. My only problem with this is that this SBA lasts fucking forever, and I would wish they would fix it. So at least that if they die between like the flurry of attacks or the up kick, that I don't gotta watch this entire thing. But it's been like this has been a little, and I don't think they're gonna change it. This makes me cry inside. Alright. His SSBA is rather unique, right? For a couple of reasons. Yeah, his SSBA is rather unique for a couple of reasons, right? So if you don't press anything, the SBA tracks. Alright? No matter how close you are or how far you are, this SBA will always track. Right? But that being said, you could also aim the SBA, your SSBA yourself. This is me holding L. Oh, sorry. Oh, I don't have the meter anymore. This is me holding M. And this is me holding H. So you can pretty much aim your SSBA at your own convenience. Someone will probably ask, why would you do that if the SSBA tracks, right? And this is the easiest example I can give. Doing it off of 2H, it's kind of like aiming at their feet per se, or like where they are if they were to be standing. But if they're airborne, it doesn't work that same way. So this is like a really good time where you would aim it. This would be like a really good time to aim it, and I'm just holding heavy. And typically, I'm not gonna say this always happens, but if you aim it off of a 2H, I counter hit two. If you aim it off of a 2H, it typically hits. Like 85 to 95% chance of hits. You gotta really do it like some like odd timing for it to whiff. I just need to like throw that out there because I just need to like have people understand. It is not guaranteed to hit if you do it like this. This is me holding M. But if you hold H, it is more than likely going to hit. So if you ever just anti-air with 2H and you have SSBA, convert it to SSBA and just hold H. The other thing worth mentioning about Lance's SSBA is that he's one of the few characters in the game with an SSBA that he can do in the air. I've been playing this character since vanilla, and I can tell you in my competitive livelihood, I have only got this to hit once. Only once. It is not something that you should be looking for, but it's something that you should be aware of. Like, oh, if you're gonna air to air your opponent, you might need that to kill that again. But typically, if you're doing that, you want to make sure that your opponent is directly below you. You don't want them to be like eye level with you. Unless they're like a taller character like Beelzebub. So, like, if we were doing this on a smaller character, like, let's say Charlotta, a smaller character like Charlotta, this will whiff a lot more frequently. It also doesn't have iframes. So yeah, you typically want them to be like directly below you and then you convert. That's pretty much it in terms of like what I feel like you should know. Oh wait, I'm missing like I rested my previous statement. We didn't talk about the things that he got new to this game outside of his ults, which is 66L, 66M, and then 66H. Alright, 66L is pretty degenerate as usual. His 66L allows you to get close M off of it. But if you're like a little bit like unsure if you're like close enough for for close L, you can press 2M. As it should reach at that in those instances. So off of 66L, you're either pressing close M or 2M. You'd be pressing 2M because it's the more consistent option. You'd be pressing close M because you want to be optimal and get as much damage as possible. But be wary at certain ranges, you might get close M. You might get far. And that might not work. The only time it does work is if it hits me, like that. If you hit it raw, it's not gonna work. 66M is his dash low. Not really much to say there. And then 66H is like this overhead chop that's not really an overhead because you can block it crouching. In my experience, there's only one practical reason to use 66L. And I'm saying practical in like quotes because you don't technically need to do that combo. It looks cool, but there are more efficient ways to do the combo, I guess. And this is the combo, provided I can hit it. And then we go flying. That's literally the only reason I have found to ever use 668H. Outside of that, I haven't found another reason to use it. And it's like, if you really want to do that, just set up a mini fireball. I don't know if it's worth I don't know if it's worth spending 50 meter just to spend the heavy fireball when I can just do the same thing. And still set up the same fireball without spending 50 meters, so there's that too. But outside of that, that's pretty much all you need to know in order to play Lance, in my opinion. I already made a Lance combo video, so if you were like curious about more of his routing, I'll link that in the description below. And yeah, have fun lancing, everyone, guys. That's the end of this video. So yes, I should be ready to say bye. But if you want to see more content like this, or if you want to see more Lance-related stuff in general, leave a comment in the section below. Let me know your thoughts. If you want to see other Grand Blue related content, whether it be me playing Percival, me playing Siegfried, or me learning Vayne, also leave that in the comment section below, because I just like making these videos. I like helping people, honestly, if it's not obvious enough. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed learning Lance with me. And yeah, look forward to the next one. Later.